Dear Lucy, I wrote this story for you, but when I began it, I had not realized that girls grow quicker than books. As a result, you are already too old for fairy tales, and by the time it is printed and bound, you will be older still. But someday, you will be old enough to start reading fairy tales again. You can then take it down from some upper shelf, dust it, and tell me what you think of it. I shall probably be too deaf to hear and too old to understand a word you say, but I shall still be your affectionate godfather, C.S. Lewis. Many people have taken a stand in history, but not quite in the same way C.S. Lewis did. Through writing the Chronicles of Narnia and other works, Lewis converted people to Christianity, and he did this against modern trends and despite the opinions of some of his closest friends. Clive Staples Lewis was born in Belfast, Ireland on November 29, 1898. When he was 4 years old, he declared his name was Jaxie, and family and close friends referred to him as Jack for the rest of his life. He grew up in a home overflowing with books and spent his time reading and writing. He and his only brother Warren told each other stories inside an old wardrobe about their imaginary land called Boxen. Sadly, his mother died when he was 10, and his father sent Warren to boarding school. Later, Jack was injured while serving in World War I, where he lost his friend Paddy Moore. Lewis took care of Moore's family after the war. He became a lecturer and writer at Cambridge University, where he was professor of Renaissance literature, and he began to publish fictional works and essays. He authored over 70 books. He's probably most famous for writing the Chronicles of Narnia, about a magical land inside a wardrobe full of Christian characters and symbols. And it was through these books that Jack took a stand and made his most lasting impact on the world. I just can't sit still another minute. C.S. Lewis's method of taking a stand was unconventional. When you think of someone who influences the world, you might think of people going into war or leading protests. Jack stayed home and wrote books. You might also be able to think of books that changed history, but very few of the world's most influential books are children's fantasies. Although Jack did serve in the military during World War I, and though he taught at Cambridge University, his greatest influence was through his books. His Chronicles of Narnia sold over 100 million copies and have been published in 47 different languages. What effect did all those books have? Since the beginning of the 20th century, the number of practicing Christians in Europe and America has declined greatly. Writing a book that promotes the idea of Christianity is standing against this widely growing trend. Mr. Lewis's amazing Narnia brought many people to Christianity. One person was his wife, Joy Gresham, a former atheist. According to the C.S. Lewis Institute, quote, Joy found nourishing spiritual food in the Bible and the writings of C.S. Lewis, end quote, and through this process became a Christian believer. Lewis's converting influence was explained by Dr. Zachary Chase, a University of Chicago anthropologist. Quote, Lewis shows a special genius for presenting Christ through the character of Aslan. He communicates Christ and Christianity in a way that not only makes sense, but helps you feel it in your heart, end quote. Not everyone enjoyed his books. His fellow writer friends protested his work on them. They thought it would ruin his reputation as a writer of serious works. He and his friends had been members of the Inklings, a small group of great writers which included Charles Williams, Owen Barfield, and J.R.R. Tolkien. While he was making his initial attempt at writing his children's fantasy book, Lewis divulged in a letter, quote, "It was by the unanimous verdict of my friends so bad that I destroyed it." End quote. However, Lewis did publish the first of his children's fantasy series, known as The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. J.K. Rowling, another British children's author, said in her first book, quote, "It takes a great deal of bravery to stand up to our enemies, but just as much to stand up to our friends." End quote. C.S. Lewis may have destroyed his first copy, but he persevered and made a second. And though his friends still did not like it, he published it, and it turned out to be one of the world's most impactful books. There are other children's fantasies on the list of the world's most impactful books. The Little Prince is one, and the Harry Potter series is another. However, people still debate whether The Little Prince is actually written for children, and Rowling's books, while widely popular, don't take a specific moral stand. Some might ask for evidence that Lewis's books have made an impact, since the number of people who say they are Christian is still declining. However, the number of Christians might be much smaller had Lewis not written his books, and furthermore, the books are still being read and discovered by new readers every day. Their influence on our world is not yet finished. Through Narnia and his other Christian books, C.S. Lewis was able to take a stand against the flow of popular opinion and even against the will of his friends for the things he believed in. And he helped many people to become Christian believers. C.S. Lewis's example will continue to inspire readers to understand Christianity and other writers to take a stand for their beliefs.